YouTube here 1 second. Okay, you're streaming. You can go ahead.
Good to go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the April 15th, 2024 meeting of the Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 Board of Commissioners. We'll start with a roll call. My name is Steve Cooley. I'm a commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
And Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right. As we've already sort of discussed, a couple of us are remote. I am currently out of state, as is Commissioner Land. So hopefully our connections will stay solid. I don't think I'll have a problem with mine. So, all right. Moving on to the public comment. Chief, do we got anybody waiting?
No, sir.
All right. Then I will open and then close the public comment period. Moving to the approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on regular agenda by request. I have a couple of comments on a few things on the consent agenda. I don't need additional discussion, but I'll go through the contents of it. First of all, the meeting minutes from our March 18th meeting. I need to ask for a correction. The meeting minutes indicate that both the chief and I attended a meeting on March 13th regarding the county council's study that they are proposing or that they've approved. I actually did not attend that meeting. So once we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, it just needs to be with the modification that those minutes are corrected to show that I did not go to that meeting. The consent agenda also includes staff reports that the chief always provides us, and I will note in there that congratulations, I think, are in order to the chief for being selected to represent the fire chiefs on the Whatcom board now. Add to your list of things to do. So anyway, I'm personally glad to see that you're on that board because any boards would benefit from your participation. So it's good to see that you're going to be representing the fire districts on the board.
I agree. Congrats.
Yes. Financial reports are also in there, which I'll comment on in just a moment. Voucher, payroll, and benefits, which include a direct payroll deposit of $483 and a monthly expenditure voucher of $699,434. Our total revenue for March was $175,466.18. And that brings our total expenditures to $699,917. And again, I don't know if we need a separate discussion on this, but the chief made me aware offline that basically, and correct me if I'm wrong here, chief, that due to the fact that the tax revenue is lagging behind, as it always does this time of year, we had to take some money out of reserves to pay our initial bill this year to North Whatcom. And I think you can see that reflected. Our total revenue for this period was only $175,000, but we had to make quite a hefty payment as normal to the district or to North Whatcom. Is that about right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I just wanted you to be aware that we were sorry, I'm under the weather today. That we were going to need to move reserves to the check writing account in order to make the payment, the first quarter payment to District 21. It's important that those payments be relatively on time, and we held on to this one as long as we could. The tax revenue will start rolling in May, and those funds will be replaced. We'll transfer the money back into reserves when the tax funds come in. So.
Anybody need any separate discussion with that? Do we want to pull that out and discuss that separately? Okay, I just want to be sure that you gentlemen were aware that that had occurred, but as the chief said, those funds will be replaced once the tax revenue comes in. So, okay, so I can make a motion, right? I'm a commissioner. I I move that we approve the consent agenda as amended, with the meeting minutes for March 18th meeting to be amended that I did not attend that meeting that it says I did. So,
I'll second.
all right, we have a second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All right, let's vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as amended, say aye. Aye.
I,
All right, motion carries 3-0. All right, moving on to unfinished business. The first item on that agenda is the Whatcom County Council Resolution 2023-054 protest. I guess I'll just kick that off by saying I think I did not see the article, but I saw the headline that the attempt by, I think it was Councilmember Strendler to repeal the council's original resolution failed. But beyond that, I'm not aware of any other progress on that. So I think that puts us in the same position we were in before, kind of waiting for whoever's going to spearhead that effort to reach out to us. Any discussion about that? Anybody have any other knowledge, Chief, about that issue?
No, I know there was some, council discussed it at the 2 p.m. committee of a whole, meeting with, what I was told was that there was they didn't ask for any input or accept any input from commissioners or fire chiefs at that meeting. And then at the evening meeting, council meeting, it voted 5-2, in favor, or sorry, they shot down the
The
protest.
attempt to repeal it. Yeah.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So as far as, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, that we're still in the same position. We're
Correct.
willing to cooperate with that effort once we are contacted and told how that cooperation will be welcomed. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Any other comments or discussion on that issue?
So my recollection from our last meeting was that there was a possibility we may be getting a draft declaration put together by the Fire Commissioners Association. I haven't heard anything more about that. I don't know if that's still a possibility, or if that's kind of dead in the water as well.
From what I understand, the leadership of the Fire Commissioners Association decided to, at the last Fire Commissioners Association meeting, the body there authorized the leadership to write a unified letter in protest. There was no dissenting votes from the body that was assembled there at the Fire Commissioners meeting. Therefore, the executive board, for lack of a better word, of the Fire Commissioners Association wrote a unified letter asking council to repeal it. And that's what was rejected at the council meeting, was that thank you for your letter, but we're not interested in we're not going to repeal what we've put forward already. So,
Okay.
I did reach out to Bruce Ansell because I had been told that he was at least peripherally involved in the drafting of that letter, and he sent me something that I have not had a chance to look at yet. I've been out of state for 3 weeks, not as an excuse, but just as a reason. But so, Chief, you're confident that that actually got delivered and finalized?
yeah, it did. It did. I don't know. I did not see the final letter that went out. I know Commissioner Ansell did submit. He submitted something to your executive board, to the commissioner's executive board. What they did with it, I don't know. I never saw the final.
Okay.
I never saw the final letter going forward.
Yeah.
I just know that it was not entertained at the county council level. Or it didn't make a difference. So.
Well, that kind of puts the pieces together a little bit more for me. So that's what spurred council member Stremler's attempt to
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
withdraw the original resolution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it sounds like he was joined by at least one other council member.
Commissioner Ellenboss, or Councilman Ellenboss. Yep.
Councilman. Okay. All right. Okay.
so I just have just a quick couple questions then. So when the Commissioners Association submits something in writing, are we sort of included in that sort of by default? And then the other question would be, who's kind of driving the vocal protest? Um, is there a way to separate that, Jason? And I mean, if it's a long answer, I can talk to you offline.
No, it's pretty short. The Commissioner Association, to which you are a dues paying member, and I can see you guys on the distribution list. Maybe if the emails are not making it through the filter, let me know, and we'll figure out another workaround so you can be notified of those meetings. But they meet like once a quarter, and yes, I suppose in their own bylaws they do have. I don't know the specifics, sir. To be honest with you, I'm honestly there as the audio visual guy to make sure that they're online. I'm and they are the ones leading they have the main concerns over this. I would say the fire chiefs do as well, but we're appointed, and this was seen as a direct kind of a direct snub by a fellow elected official, and so that's why I think the fire commissioners are the ones leading the charge on this. Fire chiefs, we're going to do what we're told.
Right. I guess, yeah, thank you. I guess where I was going is just trying to sort of reconciling our position, and maybe we're okay with sort of being vocal and named as whatever the commissioner association does, and yet sort of wanting to not block the apple cart, so to speak, as an individual district. And I guess I'm just asking, if that's a comfortable place for us.
Yeah, I think it might be good to have, if that letter was indeed finalized and sent, it might be good to have a copy of that so that we can at least make sure that, because I think they de facto, it is an association of fire commissioners. So obviously they sort of speak for all of us unless we object. So I think maybe it would be good to get a copy of that final letter and just make sure it comports, as you said, that we don't have any significant problems with what was said in that letter. In which case, if we did, we could certainly make those known. Is that kind of the flavor you're speaking of, Mark? Okay. All right.
Mr. Land, how about if I try to run a copy of that down? And if I can't, I will get you, I will send you the emails. I'll send all three of you gentlemen the emails of the executive board for the elected body of the Commissioners Association.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I do get the emails from them, and notifications of the meetings and all that stuff. So I just don't remember, seeing a letter that was going to go out.
Yeah, I did not receive a letter, so I'd be very interested in getting a copy of that email.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in general, I would like to see the communication with that body improve, but of course, the finger points right back at me potentially, because I should be more involved with that group as the chairman of our commission. So when I get back into the state, I'll make the commitment to you all that I will connect up better with that group and start attending their meetings on a more regular basis. Because I think a lot of our questions like that we have today would be answered if I was doing that. So I will take that on when I get back into the state. But in the meantime, yes, Chief, if you wouldn't mind trying at least to find out if there's a copy that we could get of whatever was formally delivered, we can go from there.
Okay.
If that works. So, yeah. All right. Any other discussion or comments about that particular issue? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the purchasing policy that the chief has asked us to look at. I'm happy to entertain, or we could discuss this today, but I had a conversation offline with the chief that due to my unexpected departure from the state for a family emergency for the last 3 weeks, I have read it, but the chief and I agreed that it would be good if he and I sat down and went together through it with a little more focused effort. So I propose that we table this until the next meeting. The chief indicated to me that is not going to hamper him in any way from continuing to do his job. So given that, any discussion desired or any comments on whether you all are good with tabling this?
Yeah, I read the first version, and then at the last minute I saw that it wasn't the right version, but that was literally before I joined, so I haven't even read the updated one. One question I had is for the chief with the discretionary, spending categories and you having discretion on certain amounts. It also says your designee, and I'm just curious if you realistically envision a designee that, maybe we haven't had a conversation with spending up to $40,000, if that's the number that, remains unchanged, or, and who that designee would be. And in reality, would you probably talk to Steve anyway, or just kind of, in all practicality, how that would actually work.
Okay.
And yeah, if you want to come back with that, and we're actually ready to discuss it in detail, if that's the next meeting, that's cool.
Okay. I think those are the kind of things that Commissioner Cooley and I talked about as well. And I think
Gotcha.
having a face-to-face across the table meeting might be better than trying to do this on Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, and we can, assuming I'm back in the state, which I anticipate being in plenty of time for the next meeting. Yeah, we'll come to you at the next meeting with a summary of the things that we've talked about. Okay. Any other comments on that particular issue? Okay.
I support
Go ahead.
tabling the purchasing policy review to next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll just keep it on the agenda for unfinished business then for next meeting. Okay, moving on, Small Works roster termination. What I obviously saw in the we obviously saw in the draft policy that enables us to either use a Small Works roster that we have or one that we subsequently become a part of. Any updates on that, Chief? On
table that as well. That would go hand in hand with that policy.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll continue that till the next meeting. And last but not least, the draft constituent letter. This is the letter that Liz Loomis and Associates are drafting for us to communicate with our constituents. I report back to you all that I asked them to give me an idea if we could save any significant amount of money by changing the format. The short answer is no, unless we decide to go to a postcard size mailing. Any other tweaks are not going to save us a significant amount of money. So I'm certainly open to discussion here, but my feeling is, and I think I expressed this to Liz Loomis and Associates, that given that we could go ahead with the original format that they had suggested we use. It was only going to be, like I said, I believe it was just a couple $100 that we could save by, I think maybe making it black and white or something, but there wasn't a significant savings unless we wanted to really shrink the size. And so questions or comments? Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you for checking with Liz Loomis.
Yep.
Commissioner Cooley. I think that to me it makes sense that we send the letter in similar format as we have in the past, and especially if it doesn't really change the cost very much. I'm in favor of getting the communication out to the constituents.
Okay, great. And that, Chief, remind me, you and I talked also about this, and that probably won't go out until May.
It will go out in May.
Yeah. Okay. That's the current plan. So, okay. Any other questions or comments on that issue? Okay, moving from unfinished business to new business. I believe it was Commissioner Johnson that asked us to put this item on the agenda, which is the annexation of the Britton Road, Northern Heights area has come back up on the city's radar, and they have voted to basically continue the process of exploring that is the bottom line. It's my understanding from talking with the chief that the vote that the city council recently took is basically just to agree to continue looking at that, to accept the issue for consideration, and now to get input on how that's going to affect fire and police and all of that. So it looks to me like we are in a similar position with the county council's efforts, that we're now waiting to be able to provide input to that process. And so, Chief, do you want to, I know you had some discussions with Chief Hewitt.
Yeah, so it's Commissioner Cooley summed it up very well. This vote that the city council took basically directs the department heads of the city of Bellingham to study the annexation. What would the impacts be, and what would the impacts to labor and the impacts to infrastructure and all those things from all the different departments, as well as one of the things I'm told by Chief Hewitt will be studied is what's the tweet 20 question look like insofar as the annexation is concerned, and then they will bring the department heads will bring those things back to the city council and give them a report. I think they have a certain number of days, and I'm at this point, my head's too foggy to try to tell you whether it's 60 or 90 days. I can't remember, but that's what I've been told.
I know the resolution said it starts a 180-day clock of some kind. I don't know
Okay,
if that's what you're talking about, but
it's
they
possibly
said
that could be it. There are still opportunities for us to weigh into this officially, such as the county boundary review board. And in order for fire especially to do their part of the study, they're going to have to engage District 4 and District 21 in discussions, as well as other fire districts. So supposedly this doesn't happen in a vacuum without us knowing what's going on. And just like I told Commissioner Cooley earlier, I will say that so far nothing I've predicted in this situation has gone according to what I thought. So if you have completely lost faith in what I'm projecting in this, I don't blame you. This is the first annexation I've worked through, and it's the directions seem to be like this. It's very confusing. So, but I do know there are at least one or two spots where District 4 will be compelled to basically speak before, like I said, the county review board or the boundary review board as far as how this annexation will affect us. So
I would be more comfortable, and maybe this is something I need to pursue before the next meeting, but I would be more comfortable if I had a better idea of when our input will be sought and in what form that will take. And again, just so that we're one step ahead of it, not simply waiting for someone to call us and say, hey, would you like to provide input? I think we should figure out where that input is going to be. And that's just my ignorant process. Like you said, I've not been through an annexation. So
let me reach out to Bellingham Planning and see if I can get an email from them that written to you that will state exactly the steps and where the district will be engaged and that kind of thing. So it'll be more official, like department head to elected official.
Yeah, and I could even take that off your plate and send an email myself. If you could just get me the point of contact, I'm happy to reach out and just simply express that, hey, we want to provide input, and we'd like to be clear on when that input will be sought.
Okay, I'll get you that point of contact then.
Okay, yeah, and then I can send that so you don't have to worry about that. So
okay,
thank you. Go ahead. I think, Tim, it looks like you've been wanting to say something, or is that just?
No, I was going to echo what you just said, Steve. Is I think it's we should be proactive in finding out how we insert ourselves in this process for
Yeah.
considering the impacts. It sounds like Chief and the Bellingham Fire Department Chief have already had some discussion, but I want to make sure we don't somehow get left on the sidelines here and be playing catch up. So I totally agree with what you just said.
Great.
Yeah,
And
and I was just going to echo that. I don't want our body to just kind of be sitting on the sidelines and, you know, eventually having the city just tell us what's going to happen. And then the other thing I was thinking about is, although it won't necessarily, I mean, District 21 probably wouldn't be like playing the same role as we would or Steve will, but it's certainly whatever does or doesn't happen, you know, is going to affect them financially. So we should consider some sort of, I don't know, just something where, you know, that board continues to be looped in as part of the process, and these may or may not be the financial implications. And because we don't, I just feel like I don't want to, you know, not be including them where they would want to be included, just like, you know, we're having this discussion now.
you're talking about District 21, making sure they're included?
Well, in whatever once we learn whatever the financial impacts might be, you know, it's not necessarily boundary. They're going to feel boundaries indirectly, whereas we're going to feel it more directly, but they're going to have a financial impact.
Certainly.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as a matter of fact, on that communication I send to the city planning, I can copy Bruce Ansell, the chairman of District 21, just to make sure they're in the loop on what we're asking as well. So
that'd be great. Yeah, I think that's probably a better way to handle it. And just for you gentlemen, just I would, not to defend Chief Hewitt, but to defend Chief Hewitt. He's he's kind of along for the ride, just like we are at this point. It's Bellingham Planning that's driving this, and the developer, and he was his notice for that meeting at City Council was extremely short, very similar to the resolution the county put forward at the end of the year regarding the study. So I think there's a lot of compartmentalization that happens on their end as well. So.
yeah, and I might send you a draft of any communication, Chief, just so you can make sure I'm not missing anything. So once I get that point of contact, I'll draft up something and ask you to take a look at it.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. All right. Anything else with that item? And I would ask that we just keep that on the unfinished business for the time being, since it's an issue we need to track. So let's just keep that on the agenda for next meeting as well.
Right.
Okay. All right. Anything else on that? All right. Moving on to correspondence. I don't think that I saw any correspondence in the packet. Yeah, I didn't. Okay. So none there. And by the way, obviously the communications I send to city planning will also be included in the packet for next week. So or next month, so you all can see that as well. Okay, so no correspondence. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back to where I was before. Okay, nothing on the correspondence list. So the next board meeting is on the 15th, or sorry, the 13th of May. Whether I'm not back in the state is immaterial. I think I'll be available for that. So anybody else know ahead of time you're not going to be available?
I will probably be pulling Commissioner Land here and calling in on my cell phone.
All right.
Okay. Noted. All right.
I
Any
don't
other
palm trees in the background, though, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I like it. It's a nice touch and makes me envious but happy at the same time. So
Yeah, I looked for that background in my filters, but I couldn't find it. So I'm not sure what.
I think it's legit. I don't think it's a back. He's actually,
Yeah, and I have to keep muting my microphone because of the waterfalls. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
very nice, very nice. Okay, any agenda items for the next meeting that we don't already have on there that you're aware of? Okay, hearing none, then all that's left is the signing of documents, and that's going to be a challenge this time around, right, Chief?
Yeah, it's highly likely that that payroll is gonna be deferred till to next month.
I'm fine with that.
But once we get signatures, my guess is that Commissioner Land might be the next person back in town. So if, Commissioner Land, if you can sign when you get back, stuff will be there.
Yeah, I mean, I can on my other email account that I use for work. I mean, I've got DocuSign, so
We
you could
can't,
always.
we're prohibited from doing that with these.
No, okay, yep,
So-
never mind. I can probably sign on Friday, but I'm guessing that'd be too
Okay.
late.
Yep, no, it's the bills, the invoices will get paid by the county when we get signatures, but the payroll is gonna have to wait until next month. So you'll end up getting 2 months at the end of May.
Okay, no problem. And if I happen to get back in town before Commissioner Land, I will let you know, obviously.
Okay,
So Chief, just to clarify, the documents are at the station to be
yes,
signed
sir.
now?
There,
Okay,
yes, sir.
I'll
They're there.
swing in there and sign them today.
Thank you.
Great.
And I left a pen this time. So,
Yeah, sometimes I have to go back to my car and get a pen when there's not one, but it's all right. No worries. Okay, other than that, anything else for the good of the order before we adjourn? All right, good to see you all. Have a great month, and we are
Likewise.
adjourned.
Yeah, safe travels.
Likewise.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
thank you.